What really bothers me, one of the things about AI that really bothers me is what it's doing to art. Now, it's not just AI. AI is like the icing on the cake for ruining music due to the pop format, which has been active, let's say, since like the 1940s, right? And it's just gotten more and more commercialized, and accumulating in what we understand, what the general public understands what music is. A 3-minute, 4-minute thing with some vocals, an insult of a solo on instruments, then right back to compressed vocals. I mean, that's what music's became. It's became a jingle, a meow mix jingle. It's and then when people talk about the greats, they're talking about people who just happen to make some money selling a product. We've all known this. I've known that since I was 12. Really kicked in. But do we really think about it? So now that AI music programs are out and AI art programs where people are presenting some ridiculous psychedelic in a bad way, not a good way, as in it looks evil, like canvases acting like they did something. Typing in prompts is the enemy of art. It's anti-art. And why anybody would be okay with typing in something and having a song created, or typing in a prompt and having a picture, it's just because you've been hypnotized by pop culture, the compartmentalization of these art forms to be sold. And a reminder of what music is and why, let's say, jazz music, mostly it's my favorite types of music, different forms of jazz, and why it's so important. And before modern music, you had like the Romantic, Baroque, all those different types of classical categories, which were cerebral presentations. And then you had something like Berlioz that began to incorporate props and theater into the music. And so there were early examples of composers saying that the music wasn't enough, or they wanted to add more to it. And but it wasn't to the point where the composer lost his purpose. Berlioz had when he did like Symphonie Fantastique, he had like people dressed like skeletons coming out as the music was playing. Berlioz, in the intro to Shining, Stanley Kubrick sampled that, an early sample. But the big transformation musically for me was when I started listening to John Coltrane. I've talked about this before. There was a point where I listened to him for 2 years straight, almost nothing but Coltrane. And then I added like Eric Dolphy and some of those people to it. Added Mingus, and just listen to those Monk, just those guys. I added those guys after about 2 years. And what that is, like when I listen to Coltrane for like One Up, One Down, or when I listen to like Village Vanguard sessions, anything, he begins playing and purposefully plays the main lick, especially in the later years, real quick, then goes into like 10 to 20 minutes and sometimes 40 minutes in the later years of jamming, and then ends it with like 30 seconds of the identifiable chorus or identifiable repetition that allows people to know what song they're listening to. And when I'm done listening to the music I like, which is long form music, I can't even get into a song until it's like about eight minutes. I think Jerry Garcia said something about that once. Like, you can't even get into a song until it's way past the modern, the recognized pop culture time frame of music. So when I listen to Coltrane, you're listening. You have to get to a point as an adult where you go beyond the requirements that are set in place for pop music. Meaning, like, Coltrane begins playing, and it becomes a spiritual workout, a mental workout. Long solos are the defining type of sound waves that a human can make when they're soloing. I mean, it's, and if you have a woodwind, the sound is happening by that person's breath. And so these main component parts of what a musical experience is deteriorating. Like when I listen to Coltrane playing One Up, One Down, or on those classics that I love, live recordings, it's like you're in a battle, and you just want to see how they're going to come out at the end. I had posted, if you watch the John Coltrane tribute concert from the 80s, where Wayne Shorter and Dave Liebman, and the guy that just died, it's escaping me, the classic drummer that just died. They're doing a Coltrane tribute, okay? And these guys look like they're half dead. It was like they had a hard night, or they caught some kind of bug. I think they were over in China or something. I don't know where it was at. And maybe they caught something from being outside of America. Who knows? But they look like they're in bad shape. And these guys are playing like they're about to drop right there on the spot. And not that you have to have that going on, but that particular recording, that particular show, the whole time I'm like, it's like watching what I'm assuming normal people get from sports. Like these guys are in a ring, and they're having this cerebral, musical, physical / spiritual exchange. And if you can understand that type of music, which all adults should get to that point, that old format of someone singing a catchy verse and then a little solo, last a couple seconds, then going back to the verse where it's all centered around the voice, it just becomes ridiculous. And it becomes almost insulting to your intelligence. So AI programs that are creating music based on prompts, you've taken out all the soul, every element of soul from your music. It doesn't matter if you're using soul samples or R&B, digital, whatever, fake instruments. You've officially removed every element of human experience from that art. It's devoid of the human experience, and it's been taken over by some sort of evil consciousness that is now representing a core art form, meaning music, painting, and we're buying it. People are buying it. And I know this is going to happen. You're going to have entire albums that are made by artificial intelligence, because at the end of the day, in pop culture, everybody just wants to be a rock star and have that that sort of image. They don't care how the music is made anymore. They just want the image. It's all about clothes, and we're officially living in a time where it's anti-art, and that's not good, because music, everything that's been done in music, has already been done before. There's nothing new. There's no new chords. There's nothing new you can produce. So why not have a whole revolution, an anti-artificial intelligence revolution of people going back to the cerebral music? You don't need media. You don't need lights. There should be movement where people are going back to just having a room, like the beginning of the Ewan Davis movie. I forget the name of it, the Coen Brothers movie about the folk singers, where they're just sitting in that quiet room, and everybody's being quiet because they want to be quiet. They want to have that experience. It's a privilege to be able to sit in a room without media flashing, without artificial intelligence of former pop stars that are dead floating around on the screen, or if you're seeing someone who's aged, you're seeing like artificial intelligence rendering of them as they were young. Maybe it's superimposed. Maybe there's a freaking hologram that comes out. This is ridiculous. The only thing that will save music is if there can be a movement where people see this insult. And I believe in people. I believe people can see this insult and make it so that